listen, it's 9:05. It's time for us to get the Sunday mentorship call started. I need you all to light up the chat right now with some Bahamian, I believe that's what it's called, flags. Okay, we have brand new Chairman 10, Miss Sophia Lightbourne, or excuse me, Chairwoman 10, Chairwoman 10, Miss Sophia Lightbourne. I mean, she's leading from the front. She's absolutely phenomenal, just genuine. She really leads with love and she loves people. So I'm excited. Sophia, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you see me okay?
Yep, I can.
Awesome. Thank you, RG, man. I got to give it back to you. Thank you for everything that you do. And I'm just super excited, right? I see the Bahamas flags in the chat. So I'm definitely, overwhelmed to just be here, able to share tonight. Guys, man, what a journey it's been. I'm just excited to be able to share a little bit about me and kind of this journey to chairwoman, right? And tonight, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story because I know a lot of y'all just know I got an accent. Y'all know I'm from the Bahamas, but you don't really know a whole lot about me. And tonight I just want to share, about some things that in my process has been a recurring theme, which is divine timing and alignment. So I want y'all to write that down. In business and life is all about timing and alignment. And I'm a big believer that every single one of you guys who are on this call tonight, you're here because of divine timing and alignment. Because you could be doing anything else, right? You could be anywhere doing anything in the world, but you're here on this call tonight. So it's not an accident. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe that everything happens in the right time and in order, right? So just a little bit about me. I don't have the typical ride to riches story or, the girl from the wrong side of the tracks, any of that. My story, guys, is really about belief. It's about dreams, a strong will, and alignment. That's really what it is. It's really about wanting something and believing in your heart that you could achieve it. I know that kind of sounds corny, but it's real. It's all about preparation and positioning yourself for when it happens. See, guys, from I was a kid, right? I always knew I was a little bit different. I was always interested in knowing, how something works, what makes it work. I was always interested in the details, right? The ins and outs, the hows, the whys. And because I was always really inquisitive, I always wanted to go to a school somewhere else. Like I wanted to come to America, right? I wanted to leave the island. And I was trying to figure out how am I going to get my parents to agree to send their kid, away. But I had a strong will. And a leap of faith, I asked. And guess what? They agreed, right? So I'm a 14-year-old kid from the island, wanting to venture off into this, this big world, this big America, not knowing really what was coming my way, but I was willing to take a chance. And guys, really quickly, right? I learned not to mix whites with colors because everything ends up pink, right? I learned that ramen noodles was a delicacy and anything could be cooked in the microwave. But this is also when I was introduced to Starbucks, right? Which was a big deal to me because for Caribbean culture, kids can't drink coffee. So this was kind of my boarding school saga. A lot of people never even knew I went to boarding school, right? Then came college. Guys, honestly, I never really liked it. It was just a way for me to prolong my time here in the States, right? Because we've got student visas. And once you're here on a student visa, you can stay in the States. So I changed majors several times. I switched schools, even switched states. Right? Because by then I knew that this was where I wanted to be, and I was ready to get my life started. I just needed some time to really figure out how. But guys, guess what happened? Time ran out. Student visa was done. I was in my 20s and I had to go back home. So I was trying to, figure out what I was going to do, but I was still holding, onto my goals, onto my dreams. I literally tried every business venture under the sun. If you could think about it, I've probably done it. Some good, some not so good, but I never gave up. But there was something missing. There was a void, I always wanted to get back here to the big city, to venture into the big world. I've always been an island girl with big city dreams. And then one day, I heard about a couple Bahamians who had won this thing called the green card lottery, right? I figured that this could be my chance. And I had nothing to lose. So guess what I did? I applied. I waited 8 months, checked the results. I didn't win, okay? I was disappointed, of course, but guess what happened next? The following week, I say it's something supernatural. A miracle happened. I got this email saying that there's gonna be a second draw because of a computer glitch, right? Keep in mind, guys, this is Homeland Security sending this email. So they released new results, and guess what? I got it. I won. I was selected. I couldn't believe it. I was actually, being able to legitimately move to the States without having to get married, without having to figure out a way, illegally to get paperwork. It just fell into my lap. Guys, that's divine timing and alignment, right? And, that's how I end up right here in front of you guys today to be able to share my story, is because it started there. It started just with a goal. It started with belief, but then something that's required is action. I took action. I applied. See, so many people hear about the green card lottery, right? But then they think it can't happen for them. So they never even apply. You always miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I took my shot and I made it, right? I was able to come here. Now, I'm just sharing that to share with you that sometimes, no matter how impossible your goal seems, no matter how, you don't know how it's going to happen, that's not up to us. It's all about divine timing and alignment, right? So, with this business, with what we're doing here with I Am, guys, I want y'all to really be aware of the golden opportunity we all have our hands on. See, we all have a chance right now to change our families, our family trees. We can actually change the entire trajectory of our lives if we take advantage. See, but you got to be aware. See, write this down. Awareness is the only thing that makes staying the same more difficult than change. Write that one down, right? Awareness is the only thing that makes staying the same more difficult than change. So when you become aware of what you've got, right, you're not going to be able to not do anything with this golden opportunity we have our hands on. Guys, another example of timing and alignment. Our Chairman 100, right, soon to be C250, Mr. Justin Owens. I met Mr. Owens 5 years ago in a completely different situation, right? We built a relationship. I was in an opportunity where I was working my butt off, but I wasn't getting any results. I watched him transition here to I Am. I tell people all the time, I watched him go from regular to rich, like in front of my eyes. And it wasn't until I was ready and I knew that it was time for me to make that pivot and make that change as well. I transitioned here about 11 months ago, guys. And he gave me the plate and I ran it. And it was because of timing and alignment that we were able to knock Chairman out in under 11 months, right? It's not because what I was doing before wasn't really working. It was just the right time, right? I could have moved and pivoted with Mr. Owens 2.5 years ago, but it wasn't the right time, right? It's all about timing and alignment. So I want you to really, etch that in your head right now, that don't get discouraged when things aren't happening in your time, right? It's not about our time. It's about divine time, okay? It's everything happened in the right time and it's in its own season. So I want to give you guys just a couple tips, all right? What I would call the 5 C's to go chairman. And if you're ready to go chairman, I need y'all to drop some 7s in the chat, right? Because 7 is the number of completion. Go ahead and drop some 7s. Let me see if you guys are ready, for 5 C's to go chairman. And these are literally the things that I did, that I applied, as I stayed focused on the goal to go chairman. The first thing, guys, is the most important one. It's consistency. You've got to be consistent. You have to be consistent. I know it's the hardest thing in the world to do, but if you really are serious about your goals, if you're really serious about achieving whatever it is that you got started here for, you've got to be consistent long enough for your result to show up. It's kind of like going to the gym, right? We all can want a 6-pack, right? I know I do, but you've got to keep consistent at working out and eating right long enough for those abs to come through. See, what we typically do, guys, is we get started, but we don't finish. Most people get started at a lot of stuff and never finish anything. And something Mr. Owen said to me, he said, what would happen if you just finish? What would happen if you give yourself a shot to go long enough for your result to really show up, right? So you've got to be consistent. I mean, that's in everything that has to do with this business. You've got to be consistent in your belief. You've got to be consistently training. You've got to be consistently prospecting, presenting, promoting. Everything requires consistency. You're not going to be able to go chairman if you're not consistent, because people follow consistent people, right? You guys don't understand how many people have joined my business just saying to me, Sophie, you've been consistent so long, I got to take a look at what you do. Seriously, right? They don't even know what the business is, but the consistency makes them say, that's a person I want to follow. That's a person that I want to work with. That's a person I want to rock with, right? So consistency. The second thing, okay? The second thing is confidence. You've got to be confident. You've got to be confident in yourself. You've got to be confident in what we have. You've got to be confident in the skill set. You have to. See, and you can be humble and confident at the same time. See, one of the things that I'm blessed and I thank God for all the time is humility. I'm a really humble person, but when you talk to me about this business, I'm confident, okay? Like no one can tell me anything about what we're doing here at IAM. No one can tell me anything about the lives that we're changing, right? No one can tell me anything about the fact that I'm going to be able, with my team, to change my country's landscape through this opportunity. That's confidence. So if someone comes to me and talks to me sideways about what I'm doing, it's laughable, you know? It's like, true, right? So you've got to be confident. So you've got to develop self-confidence. See, guys, I have it right here. The self-confidence formula, right? Print this thing out for real. Really use this. Read it. It will help you to develop self-confidence, okay? You've got to build confidence. Sometimes everyone isn't born with it, but it's something that's developed. So you've got to put the time in. You've got to put the effort in to develop confidence, okay? If you're not a confident person, guess what's going to happen? Someone can come and say something crazy about your business, but because you lack confidence, you start to believe them. You got to start to know what we have. You got to know, you have to have no doubt about what you have your hands on, okay? You've got to know exactly what it is that we're doing. I tell people all the time, we are literally hope dealers. You know, we have the ability to shine that light in dark, dark places for millions of people around the world. But you got to be confident enough to open your mouth and share it with them. All right? Here's the third thing. Here's the third C. You've got to be willing to change. Change. Change is the one thing in life that's guaranteed, right? The seasons change. You know, you will change. Everything in your life will change. You've got to be willing to change. Stop resisting change. See, guys, you got to change a lot of stuff. You got to change your thinking. You got to change your habits. You got to change your focus. You got to change your associations. You got to change the things you're speaking. Everything in your life has to change for your results to change. See, if change wasn't required, you would have everything that you wanted. If you didn't have to develop into another type of person, you would have everything that you wanted. The reason you don't have it is because you're not the person who's worthy of receiving it yet. See, that's what I understood in my process. I was working hard. You know, I wanted it. I was speaking it, but I had to develop. I had to change. I had to grow. So you've got to stop resisting change because you're slowing down your process. Every time you stop change, you're self-sabotaging. Write that down. Stop self-sabotaging. Most people are you're standing in your own way. Because the one thing that you need to do to take your life to the next level, you're like, nah, I don't want to do it. You got to change. You've got to be willing to change. And you know, we always talk about your coachability factor, right? You've got to be willing to learn and be willing to change. See, a lot of people on this call tonight are willing to learn. You want to learn the skill set. You want to learn the trade setups. You want to learn how to use the indicators. But are you willing to change? Are you willing to stop over leveraging, right? Are you willing to, you know, stop saying I'm going to lose the trade when you actually place it? You've got to be willing to change. It's one of the things that you can do that doesn't require a whole lot of skill. You just got to decide. That leads me to number 4, commit. You've got to make a commitment. You've got to make a commitment. They say the only prerequisite for success is to decide, a decision. You got to make a decision right now on this call that you're going chairman. It's just a decision. If you decide, everything else will align afterwards. But if you're kind of on the fence, if you haven't made a decision, then nothing is going to line up. Everything's going to be on the fence. Everything's going to be unstable and wishy-washy. But just decide right now, listen, I'm going chairman. I'm going to change my family's life. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to be a 6-figure earner. Guys, that's what changed for me, is when I made the decision. See, I was in another opportunity and I made a decision to come here, right? I made a decision, which was one of the toughest business decisions I ever had to make. But when I made it, I cut off all other options. I had no plan B. I had no backup plan. It was all or nothing. And when I made that decision, right, because decide means to cut away from everything, when I decided, everything lined up. My mindset lined up. Mr. Owens and our leadership here is amazing. They're going to give you the play. All you got to do is run it. But a part of running the play is deciding that you're going to run it even when you don't feel like it. And that's what commitment is, y'all. Commitment is doing what you said you would do long after the feeling has left you. See, we get on these Sunday night calls. We go to the events. We get on the Run the Place at Super Saturdays, and we're pumped up. We're hyped. We're motivated. Then 24 hours later, we're like, you know, the feeling has left us. So we said we were going to show the plan 4 to 6 times a week. But after that feeling left us, we start showing it once a week. See, commitment is doing what you said you would do long after the feeling is gone. That's what commitment is. And commitment is a habit as well. I say winning is a habit, losing is a habit, quitting is a habit, committing is a habit. See, if you're not good with commitment, maybe in relationships, maybe in school, you probably ain't good with commitment with your business either. But you could decide to change that tonight. You've got to make a commitment to your goals, man. You got to commit to them. Because what's the other option? If you don't commit and you renege on what you said you was going to do, where will you be? What you going back to? See, that's what would change for me. I was like, if I don't run this play, the whole play, and nothing but the play, what am I going back to? Just going back to work? To struggle to pay my rent? That wasn't an option, y'all. So if you see this as a way out, if you see this as a vehicle to freedom, how could you not commit to it? How could you give up? Guys, you got to never quit, man. You got to decide that too. You got to make a commitment tonight that you're never going to quit. Is it going to be easy all the time? No, life ain't easy. But is it going to be worth it? Definitely. There's a saying that I heard, like when I first started entrepreneurship, that never left me. It said, being broke is hard and getting rich is hard. Choose your heart. Which one y'all choose? See, getting rich is not easy, but being broke ain't either. So if it's going to be tough, why not at least see some light at the end of the tunnel, right? There's going to be some growing pains through your process. That's okay. But you're either going to suffer the pain of sacrifice or you're going to suffer the pain of regret. You choose. See, I chose the pain of sacrifice. When I was tired, my body almost shutting down, and I had a presentation, I wanted to sleep, but guess what? I did it anyway, right? When I didn't feel like going to a meeting to meet someone at Starbucks to share the plan, but I did it anyway. See, you got to sacrifice, right? And I don't really even like the word sacrifice. It's more like investment. It's temporarily giving up something right now, expecting a major return on the back end. So I can sacrifice some sleep. I can invest some time. I can invest some money into my organization because I'm going to get it back tenfold. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to suffer the pain of regret. I'm not going to be that person saying, man, what if I had just ran a little harder? What if I had listened to Justin? What if I had just ran the play for real? Guys, don't be that person who's going to suffer the pain of regret. Sacrifice. It's worth it. I promise you it's worth it. Here's the fifth thing. The fifth thing, and I think this might be just as important as the first, and that's culture. Culture. Okay? Culture. To go chairman, you've got to create a culture in your group. I think that that's one of the things that we have so amazing in this Run the Play organization is the culture is something like I've never seen before, right? A culture where there's absolutely no egos, right? Where no one's better than the next. A culture where people love it here so much that even if they make $0, they still gonna stick around, right? Don't base your culture around money. Because if people don't make no money right away, guess what? They're out. So you want to base the culture on growth. You want to base the culture on development. You want to base the culture on helping people reach their full potential. See, when people see that they're growing, when they see their mindset is shifting, when they see, they're becoming a better version of themselves, even if they don't make $1 trading, they still gonna be around because of the culture. So I think that that's one thing that we've got to commit more time to, is developing and nurturing the culture. Mr. Owens has done a great job, but we have to make sure that we're duplicating culture in our groups as well. That's something that I think has really took my business to the next level, is because when I started to focus more on people development, instead of just focusing on ranking up, everything changed. Because when you start to believe in people and help them believe in themselves and start believing bigger a whole lot faster, everything changes, right? That's called faith. That's something also, that's not a seed tonight, but that's something that you definitely want to make sure that you're passing on to your group as well, is faith, right? And there's 5 tips I want to share with you guys about the mechanics of faith. I want y'all to write these down. I was watching like a YouTube a couple of months ago, actually. I think it was September. I think it was like in May, right? In May, late night, like maybe 3, 4 in the morning, I ran across this video. And when you watch it like a YouTube and you laying in bed, but it's so good, you got to sit up and grab your pen and paper. That's what this was like for me. And I found it and I said, I got to share this on the call tonight, because this is something that, has completely changed my belief system, right? And remember, faith and fear can't coexist. Remember that. So you can't be fearful and have faith at the same time. You're choosing one or the other. One is going to override the next. And both of those things require you to believe in something that's unseen. The only thing is, one is a negative outcome and one is positive. You got to choose, right? Positive vibes always bring positive results. Positive thoughts always bring positive results. So if you are on the positive side, you want to move in faith. And here's the 5 mechanics of faith, okay? I don't know what some of you guys believe in. I believe in God, okay? So I'm just going to share what I believe. But the 5 steps to the mechanics of faith is this. And you might want to write these down, because this is going to be something you can refer to over and over and over when doubt tries to creep in. This is when, I was on this chairman run, and sometimes it felt like, my back office wasn't moving, right? It felt like every time I checked for the update, the numbers were dropping. But I kept remembering and referring to these things, and I was able to just brush it off, right? I didn't allow fear or doubt to creep in. First thing, you have to expect. It's all about expectation, all right? You have to say, I expect a plan of action. I expect a plan of action. We've got a plan of action, guys. Mr. Owens, he's already laid it out. Run the play. We've got the play. So you already have a plan of action. So you have to expect a plan of action. Second thing, you've got to expect the wisdom of God. See, guys, because we can't lean onto our own understanding, right? We've got to lean on something greater than us, and he's the source. Everything that we're doing is not coming from our own abilities, y'all. It's coming from him. So if you start to believe that everything that you're doing so great is from you're mistaken. And very quickly, you will see things start to shift, because when you get it twisted and think that it's you who are so great, be careful. So you've got to expect the wisdom of God. The third thing, you've got to expect the favor of God. Okay? So not only do you want to expect the wisdom, you've got to expect favor. Now, what's favor? Favor is the willingness of others, right? Favor is when you go into, you go somewhere and someone who has power, someone has influence just favors you. They just let you slide in front of the line, or they just do something special for you that you don't even deserve. That's favor. But you got to expect it. It's all about setting a spirit of expectation. Y'all got to stop expecting for people not to sign up, or expecting people to quit, or expecting people to not pay their auto ship. You got to expect favor. Next thing, you've got to expect a miracle that you cannot explain. You got to expect a miracle that you cannot explain. That's called supernatural. You got to expect supernatural growth in your business. You got to expect overflow, right? This is August, abundance August, right? Overflow, abundance, increase, supernatural growth, quantum leaps. You got to expect it. You got to expect miracles that you can't explain. See, when things happen in your business, Like what happened in my business last weekend, guys, and I'm being 100% honest with y'all. Yes, I have been working my butt off. Yes, my team has been working. But last week where we were able to put over 100 new customers in 48 hours. That's supernatural. But I was expecting it. I expected a miracle I can't explain. So now that I've seen that growth in the last 48 hours last weekend, I knew it was a miracle. It wasn't us. It wasn't me. My presentation's been the same, right? We've been inviting people to the calls, but we never had that closeout ratio. That was supernatural, but I expected it. And the last thing, guys, which is one of the most important parts, is you've got to expect the strength to endure until change happens. Expect the strength to endure till change happens. Write this down. This has been the motto for my life since May to now. If I'm willing to wait forever, I won't have to. If I'm willing to wait forever, I won't have to. So if you expect the strength to endure, no matter how long going chairman takes, guys, it ain't even gonna take that long. It won't even take as long as you think, once you expect it. So I just want y'all to know, like, everyone on this line can go chairman. Why? Because it's divine timing and alignment. There's people who should be on this call right now who aren't, because it's not their time. It's not their season. It's yours. So don't waste it. Don't take this thing for granted, because you may never get another opportunity like this. And that's what I understood when I started running the play, was that this was my shot. This was my chance, and I was going to run it up. I was not going to suffer the pain of regret, wondering if I had gone a little faster, if I had pushed a little harder, if I had talked to a couple more people. No. I was willing to do whatever it took. And guys, it worked. It worked. So, I'll leave y'all with this. Eliminate all doubt. Eliminate all fear. Even if you're scared, do it anyway. Have courage. That's another C to chairman. Have courage. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. Courage means that you do it anyway. If you're scared to death, still do it. It's going to pay off. Be disciplined. Be disciplined to keep doing what you said you were going to do. Keep your commitments. You ain't committing to me. You're not committing to Mr. Owens. You're not committing to your chairman upline. You're committing to you and your family. You owe it to yourself. You wouldn't be on this call right now at 9:30 on a Sunday night if you weren't serious about your goals and your dreams. Now you just got to follow through. The fortune's in the follow-up, not just with our prospects, with everything. You got to follow through. You got to stay committed. You got to build confidence, remain consistent, don't resist change, and build a culture in your group, guys. And if you do that consistently long enough, every single one of y'all on this call will go chairman. All right. So I hope y'all got value from this. If you did, drop some ones in the chat. And I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. It's all about divine timing and alignment. Just blessed and fortunate to be able to come on this call tonight and share with you all. And I hope you got value. And if you did, I hope you didn't just listen or learn, but I want y'all to apply. All right. So y'all have a good night. God bless. And I'll talk to y'all soon.